Hello, God bless. I've changed position for a change. I'm outside. I don't really want to point the camera at people or anything like this. I'm trying to avoid it. After a couple of community guidelines warnings from TikTok. I don't understand why they were. I reviewed the videos. But anyway, just to be careful about this kind of stuff. So I completed today. And it was inspired by, like, I always kind of sing musical versions. I completed Pack Up Your Troubles. And discovered that it was the title of Pack Up Your Troubles and Your Old Kit Back was a famous World War I song by the Powell brothers. And I was really shocked to discover the information. I started writing it last night. I had it in my head, like, pack up your troubles and leave for Mars. I was singing it in kind of musical format, and I thought it was from, like, Winnie the Pooh or something like this. Of course, pack up your troubles could come up in conversation. Like a debate with a brother or sister or friend, like, oh, pack up your troubles and leave. And that's how I started thinking about it, and like other feelings for songs I've written about Mars, Moon, and the Sun, and Friends and Agrigento, and all of this. And then before I wrote the chorus, I knew the story that Pack Up Your Troubles and Your Old Kit Back was from World War I, which influenced the rest of the writing. And I sat there completing the art, like, well, who's going to notice? Who isn't? In the position of the creation of the artist creating the art. Who will notice an artist creating art? And a few people did, and most didn't. So I've moved position. I'm not going to film the people. I'm sitting outside the Campo Express. I'm just around the corner from Campo de Fiori as an artist of 32 songs in Campo de Fiori. Over two separate time periods which span out over 3 years. The last time I was here 3 years ago, I stayed for 2 months, and now 5 months. So who will notice an artist creating art in the position of the created art, or answer the question of, do you have 10 cents of appreciation for music, art, or compassion? And this is now, after all of the experience of all that I've done, this is what I'm monitoring in different positions. How many would show appreciation for music or art, whether it be hello, bread, water, pane, or aqua, or just even hello? How many would show a token of appreciation for music, art, or compassion? And, well, the results have been quite tragic, based on the fact that it's Rome and a bigger city. Sometimes it takes time for change. But, well, the vast majority, as I've documented and shared, are rejecting music, art, and compassion. And yet somehow the children aren't like that. Of all the writing I've done lately, which is a lot, and I'm surprised at the combination and coincidences attached to this one piece of text. To imagine that the Powell brothers, the World War I famous song, Pack Up Your Troubles and Your Old Kit Back, I didn't guess that, and I discovered after writing the verses before the chorus that they're from Wales. So I'm like, now I feel like more deeply into the song. I had the idea for the fourth verse last night. So realistically today, all I found the chorus, but I found the chorus after reading the story about the Powell brothers and what they wrote, and the tragedy of one of them committing suicide, and all the pain of all of what happened in World War I. And that was the military song of that time. So I was shocked to discover the combination. I'm really happy to be writing a lot in Rome, where it's a challenging experience. And the main reason it's so challenging is this. The vast majority of the moving adult society, often 99% plus, are fiercely rejecting music, art, and compassion. Even while faced with a simple question, even while the artist is creating the art. I thought about this, I thought about it several times. So you go to visit an art gallery to see an artist who's created 40 pieces of art in Rome. And you walk through the doors and then decide to close your eyes, ears, and heart. And that's exactly what most of the movements are doing. Their eyes are closed. Excuse me. Their eyes are closed, their ears are closed, and their hearts are closed in the point of contact with art, even at the time of creation. So now I'm going to monitor this situation. I'm going to sit here for, what, an hour or a couple of hours and see what happens. It's nearly 6 p.m. I count this from 6. I'll be sharing it a little bit later. I've only got Wi-Fi and no credit. And I'll keep you posted of, well, now this is another creative piece of art. And today, in many ways, is my celebration. I've made it to 40 pieces of art in Rome. And it's now my third most written place. Set was my third most written place, which has now been overtaken. And my second most written place is 72 songs in Grisons, which I love very much and I'm attached to, obviously, because of that, in the south of France. And my number one most written place is Agrigento with 108 songs. Now, anyone who watches this to this position might think, oh, you're saying that to do with ego. No, I've studied Alamots. Nothing to do with ego. It's not about me, is it? It's about change. But how could an artist create art undetected in Rome or wherever it might be? While the artist is creating art, how could the artist creating the art, not be detected? And that's what I'm defending now, the madness of that. I'm not an artist of just the position I've written this, which was half in Campo the Fiori and half in my other Stay in the Shade position, which is now 6 songs realistically in that position. There's only one day I haven't written while I've been sitting there. So I'm really inspired in Rome, but it's a tragedy to see the number that will ultimately reject music, art and compassion. For what? For the value of 10 cents. It's a simple question in English and Italian, can you help? And 99% of the moving adult society, with no exaggeration of the percentage, are saying no. While I'm teaching the children, and every single child notices. It's complete insanity what's taking place, and I'm fighting for change. So I'll keep you posted, keep this no longer. And I'm going to sit here for, what, a couple of hours and see, well, or an hour or two, and see, well, whether I'm playing or not is ultimately irrelevant. I've thought about it for years. I'm going to sit here as an artist and see how many would say yes to a single question of would you offer 10 cents to an artist, a creator of art? Or what about if I was a homeless brother? I'm outside the small supermarket, almost directly in front of my position, Carrefour Express, at the side of Campo the Fiori. And I'll monitor the results and let you know what their answer is to the artist saying, do you have 10 cents? I'll keep you posted. Send love and light. God bless.